Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me again. Today is going to be part two of the review of the KO knockoff bootleg wrestling figures. Some of these are from late 80s, early 90s, what have you. As I mentioned in the previous video, when we did a review of the wrestling champs, these type of figures right here, none of these packages give a manufacturer name or anything like that, so I have no idea who made them. For the sake of these videos, I'm going to call them Sungold because, again, did Sungold make these? Make some of them? I don't know. Tried researching it, but nothing really comes up. So again, part one, we're talking about the wrestling champs. In part two, we're looking at the wrestler packages. These are all 2-packs, so that's pretty awesome right in and of itself. The first thing I want to do is do a refresher, kind of look at the last two figures, or the last two sets that we had in the previous video. Now, even though the packages, the last two packages we looked at in the last video were of the wrestler line and not the wrestling champs line, I wanted to include them because the packages themselves, they were very reminiscent of the wrestling champs figures. So even though they're a different line, they did have the same type of figures from the wrestling champs line. So again, just look at the first set. We had Jimmy Snuka and Hulk Hogan. And at the end of the last video, I mentioned that you are going to see Hulk Hogan often enough. So this one is different than the other packages we're going to look at, for the simple fact that just like the wrestling champs, they do have the same packaging, with the same 6 figures on back. None of these guys really match up with any of the characters in the actual packaging, so that's always really weird. And graphics of this, I really enjoy this one. With the wrestling champs, they tried their best to emulate the LJN style, not only for the card backing, but for the original 5 wrestlers. Hogan, Andre, Sheik, Stud, Snuka. So they pretty much did that, and they're repeating a little bit of it here on the wrestler bootleg version. So that was Snuka versus Hogan, with Hogan as the champ. And here you got another 2-pack of Andre the Giant and Hogan. Again, both of them as champions. We're not going to spend too much time on these packages since we did briefly discuss them or review them in the previous video. But I did want to bring them up as reference, even though they're different figures from what we're going to look at, simply because they are part of the wrestler series. So, first one we're looking at is the Hulk Hogan versus Iron Sheik. Again, they're bootleg. Nobody's calling them Hogan. Nobody's calling them Iron Sheik. You just automatically know based on the appearance of the characters that that's exactly who they were going after. And I'm trying to review the back of this package. Now, the difference between this one and the others is you have just an absolute ton of bona fide characters to go off of. So if you're actually looking at this, actually I got it right for you. So Iron Sheik looks like, if you look at the very bottom, so number 4 from the left or 3 from the right is number 339/10. So where are we at? 339/10. I don't know if that's who that is, if that's who it's supposed to be. Because what are you doing as a kid? You're always looking at the back of the package to see who else you need from that line. Me as a collector right now, I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking at my Jakks Classic Superstars. I'm like, hey, I've got Undertaker. Who else is from this line? Bam, here's 7 other characters. Go on eBay, look them up, see if I can find them, try to complete that series. So when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, maybe these are all the guys that I need to complete this particular line, or at least this series. Hopefully it's the complete line, because wow, could you imagine these many figures per line? I don't care if these packages are a year old, 30 years old, or 150 years old. in my opinion, these particular action figures are not worth more than $10. These were your junk store, $1 bin. No, not even $1 bin. You go to Kmart, yeah, maybe a dollar bin. But these are generally your dollar store action figures. These aren't the high end figures that you would go to like KB Toys and Toys R Us to purchase your figures. Hasbro back in the day was like $5 for an action figure, so we're not talking like a massive difference in price, but these, because I used to have quite a few of these particular types of figures with this body type, this is why I didn't like Remco's, because I always thought that these were Remco. I always knew Remco was very popular for ripping off, other lines, other characters, basically giving all of their action figures He-Man type bodies. And the way that the legs were split like that, horrendous. I absolutely despise that. They just were not fun to play with at all. And, they could mesh pretty well with your Hasbros and your Galoobs, I guess. Maybe they were a pinch taller. So just looking at them, I don't think they're 4 inches. I think they're more like 5.5 inches tall. And as a collector here, as an adult, obviously I get a great appreciation for them. And this is why I love collecting carded figures. I said it with the Jakks Classic Superstars. I'm going to say it, with these figures. Individually, I could care less about the action figure. The action figure on card like this is what I gravitate towards. The Jakks Classic Superstars are some of the most beautiful carded figures because the box is amazing, and I really like the graphics of these bootleg versions as well. So, Hulk Hogan against Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan with red trunks. And again, in the last video I said pay close attention to the 2-packs. I'm going to repeat that again right now, because when I say you're going to see Hulk Hogan often enough, I am not exaggerating, folks. So this one has Hulk Hogan again, this time with green trunks. Another great thing that I really like about this particular line, every single wrestler, regardless of who it is, comes with a championship belt. Again, just like here Galoob, every wrestler had a championship belt, and that was so amazing. These are really cheap plastic belts, but you know what? Again, I'll take them. I think these are better than, a lot of the belts you find nowadays, so I'm okay with that. This guy, I don't know, he kind of reminds me of Razor Ramon from the Remco line. So, again, when I've been hanging him up, I've been calling it Hulk Hogan versus Scott Hall. If that's who it is, again, I'll repeat. Your guess is as good as mine. I really couldn't tell you who they would decide to mold this after. And I'm trying to see on the back of this package. So, this character right here, that could be Macho Man. It could be this Scott Hall lookalike. I don't know. Or it could be this one. This one does actually look like the character on the front, so that could be Scott Hall. Now, if these bottom figures actually are what you see in the package, that helps. The tough part is, all of these packages, you get one new wrestler, sure, but you always have a Hulk Hogan in there regardless of who's doing battle against. So, you had Hulk Hogan versus Iron Sheik with red. You have Hulk Hogan versus Scott Hall, where he wears green trunks. I mean, I like the fact that they at least take the time to replace or change out the color scheme of the trunks. I mean, at least it makes it somewhat of a different character, but not by much. So, the first two figures, he had black boots. This time he comes back with blue boots, but sticks with the green trunks. 2-pack, Hulk Hogan. Jesus. I understand Hulk Hogan is literally the most popular wrestler possibly of all time. A huge draw. And I just love going back and watching old videos and, even YouTube videos of him in the 80s and 90s. No one can rile up a crowd the way that Hulk Hogan did. The man was just an amazing talent. He played his role to perfection. And you got the Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. And again, so you could see obviously a difference. I really like this one where these guys with the way that their legs are kind of bent inwards facing each other. No, these guys killed it for me, and because of these particular figures, because I was confused as a kid, I didn't know any better. It really had me hating on a company for no reason. Oddly enough, these figures nowadays, as an adult, where I can get better appreciation for them, I don't mind them. I think they display really well. What kind of sucks about these right now is I don't really have any wall space or hanging space anywhere here in the basement. So when you open up the kitchen door to come down to the basement, I have all of these guys plastered on the walls right near the lights and as you're walking down the stairs. And of course, as you go further down the stairs, you start running into all my carded Hasbro figures. I got some, and I might do a little, not a review, but I might do a room tour at some point, and you'll see them displayed the way that they are. Not how I want it. I want these displayed on the wall, where I could actually have them, fans or viewers can actually see the figures. So I really hate having it displayed that way. But if I want to keep all my collections together, keep everything centrally located in one room, I have to find space for them. And right now, that's the only thing I could do is to put them on that side wall coming down the stairs. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant. Oh, look who we have. Hulk Hogan. This one I've been calling Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man. So, I guess either this guy or possibly number 2 would be the Macho Man character. So this one, at least, he actually really looks like Macho Man, considering the, you don't have the 3 printed designs as of like today, so it's very close. And for the first time, you see Hulk Hogan in something other than, nope, I lied. The very first one we looked at, he was wearing green trunks. But you'll see him in blue trunks, you'll see him in green trunks, you'll see him in red trunks. That doesn't really... They change it up a few times here and there, but overall. So 13 minutes, guys. I don't know if I'm going to spend a lot of time on each figure. Like I said, there's just not anything too much to actually talk about. I mean, these videos are more just to kind of show different figures for particular lines. But as far as history with the figures or, the company, there's not much to say. This one, these last 2, I have, they're generic to the best of my knowledge. Again, you see the blonde hair, you kind of gravitate towards Greg Valentine or maybe even a Ric Flair for these particular characters. Other than that, I wouldn't even begin to imagine. And I don't see this blonde guy even on this package at all. So... trying to look here. Yeah, so none of these guys really mesh well with this character. So if you want to keep it as the imitation of LJN, you're out of the top 5. So now who's next? You go into Series 2, and who is one of the most popular figures from Round 2 or Series 2, and that is Greg Valentine. So it makes a lot of sense. Again, packaging don't change. The back of it is always the same. Likewise, all characters come with championship belts. You might lose one belt, so you got a spare, so that's always great. So no matter who you're wrestling, you always have Hulk Hogan there. And I'm trying to see if any of these are different, but they all look... You know what? Maybe it's just because their figures are so old. And maybe there's... Yeah, see, like these, the Macho Man and Hogan, they got like the same birded championship belt. I don't know, some of them might look a little bit different, but not by much. This guy right here, this elf-looking guy, if you actually look at his belt, it looks like it's beginning to get faded or corroded or something. I don't know. How do you get corroded when you're inside a package? And when you actually feel around these, some of, okay, yeah, there is kind of like a little, but you could tell that they've never been opened. They might be coming a little bit undone, but twisting heads and waist, moving arms and legs, removable championship title belt. I just want to know who manufactured these packages or these products. They don't say. And this guy, based on the face, based on the gray hair, I don't know who I would even use. If I was a kid and I was playing with these guys, I would have no idea who to call that guy, because on the back of this package, this guy, that's who it is. So at least that one was relatively easy to find. So I do actually have, I think, 2 more packages like these coming in from eBay. So I don't know, very doubtful, will I make another video just to talk about those 2 sets. But you know, those are the first 2 sets, first 2 videos were the first 2 sets of KO figures, some of the bootlegs. There's another, I do have one more set I would like to talk about, and the figures, the box set look amazing. The figures are kind of like these. The color is good. The Hulk Hogan figure is terrible, but I only have 4 out of 6 figures. I found one other one from a seller, I don't know, New Zealand or something. I don't know, somewhere overseas. But they want like $150 for those packages. Here's a tough thing. I got 6 of these packages from a seller here. Nope, I take it back. I think the seller came from, was it here? No, it was, I'm confused. I just buy from so many people. The seller may have been from Spain, or it may have been a different seller. But it's killing me. I can't remember. But for one seller I bought these from, you know, I was paying like $50 per package, and I bought like a handful. And then from a seller in Spain, I bought like 6 of these packages, and I paid like $12 a piece for them. So, you know, shipping on that was like $30. And for 6 of these packages, $30. I mean, I'm okay with that. At $12 a piece, I mean, shoot. I kind of almost regret paying $50 a piece from the other seller. But, you know, you look at her prices, she had some listed for $70, some listed for $100, some listed for $200. So, getting these for like $50 a piece, and those wrestling champs I did in the last video that I have hanging upstairs. Again, she had listed for $100, $200, etc., and I paid $50 a piece. Were they worth it? No. I don't think any of these figures are worth more than $10, and the only reason I'm saying $10 is because of the vintage, the fact that they're vintage figures. You know, they're 30 years old. That's it. I don't think they would ever be any more valuable than that. So, $12 was fair. $50 was just ludicrous. But as a collector, as someone who wants this line, sometimes you just got to pay up. Okay, I will make that other video, so I'll have all 3 of the KO figures videos knocked out, and I am working on some others. There's something called Sonoma or something, and there's another line from I believe that seller's in New Zealand as well, and I don't know if I'll ever buy those packages. They want like $100 to $150 a piece for them, and I think there were like at least 6 of them that he was selling, or maybe 4. So I could pick up quite a few from the line by purchasing just from him, but do I want to come out $300 or $400 just for, you know, those figures? If it happens, you guys will know, because I'll be making a video for it. Alright folks, once again, thank you so much for watching, and please, if you know who makes these, let me know. Leave in the comments. You know, I'm interested in not just saying wrestler or wrestling champs for the other version. I'd like to know who actually made these. If it was by Sungold, perfect. If it's by someone else, that'd be a huge. Like I said, tried doing some research, and it didn't really come up with that much or anything at all. Alright folks, that's going to close out this video. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you, and I will talk to you in the comments. And until next time, goodbye for now.